So, as we saw last time, we had just begun with the topic of Rama and Krishna. So, the main point which comes in is we all know that first Rama Avataram took place in the Treta Yugam. Now, if you see Rama Avataram, the purpose of Rama Avataram was to fulfill one very very important thing, that is Ravana was torturing the Devas. That's when the Devas, they approach Vishnu and tell him that this Ravana has got a boon that he, except for a man, no other creature, no god, no demigod, no animal, no other creature can kill this demon. Therefore, a Manava avataram or a man only will be able to kill this demon Ravana. That's when Bhagavan decides that I need to take a Manushya avataram or a Nara avataram, that is Rama. So this is one very very important characteristic of Rama avataram, that is Manava avataram or Nara avataram. Now the next question will come to our mind saying that even Krishna avataram is also a Manava avataram only, right? Now if you see from Matsya avataram, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana and so on, even Vamana avataram is also Manava avataram only, human being, right? Matsya as a fish, Kurma as a turtle and so on. Now many of us, we don't know that the order of these avatars, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, that we say, though we say it in that order, it has not taken place in that order. Okay. So, and these are not the only avatars of Narayana. As per Srimad Bhagavatam, if you know, roughly 22 to 24 avatars of the Lord have been told. In different Puranas, there are different references. But these 10, why we primarily consider is, there are many reasons for this. Mainly if you see, right from a fish or so, you see the evolution has taken place. From a creature living in water, next is Kurma, a creature who can live both in water and land. Then a Varaha, creature who lives on land, who actually rescued Bhumi Devi. Then Narasimha, half man, half lion. Finally Vamana, a full human form. Then Parshurama, a sage. A Chiranjeevi also. Then finally comes Rama Krishna. So this way evolution has taken place. This is one reason, or it can be one reason why these, we say the popular Dashavataras that are there. Yeah. But we must know that the time period is different. We cannot always say that, okay, first Matsya, then Kurma. There are different Vedas that are there. Now coming back to our point, both Rama Avataram as well as Krishna Avataram, both are human avatars only. But the only difference that is there is, Rama Avataram, if you see, we have a doubt, right? When Sita Devi was abducted, or there were many instances when Rama could have taken a serious action, but still Rama decides not to do that. Or when Sita was abducted, he also wails, he also cries like a common man. That's when a question comes in that if he is a form of Bhagavan only, he could have killed Ravana then and there using his divine powers also, so many weapons he had. So, or this should not have taken place with Rama, right? If he is a person, he is God himself, why should injustice happen to him? But a life lesson from this is, why the Lord even takes an avatara is to teach human beings and devotees like you and me, saying that like this troubles are going to come in your life also. How you face and deal is something which is very very important. If Rama also then and there, say he would have avoided the abduction or the kidnap of Sita, then only he would have used his divine powers and killed Ravana, then Ramayana will also seem to be like a fairy tale for us, right? Because human beings like you and me, we cannot do such things. If something is wrong is happening with us, or some problems come in our life, we cannot just use our divine powers or magic powers and so on, right? So therefore, this is one very very aspect wherein Rama or Rama Avataram that is there always keeps man in his mind, and thinking that because Ramayana is a text, Ramayana, Mahabharatam both are itihasas which were written, which were composed, keeping this in mind that generations later also people will be able to relate to Ramayana, to this character Rama, to this Avatara Purusha Rama. But in Krishna Avataram what happened? Therefore, in every instance of Rama Avataram, Rama behaves like a normal human being only. That's the reason he is caught in various relationships also. Later, after even the Pattabhishekam takes place in Ayodhya, the Uttarakandam comes in. He is caught between Raja Dharmam, Pati Dharmam and so on. So there is a clash between his family duties as well as his kingship that is there. But again there he chooses his dharma there, Swadharmam Kshatriya Dharma. So So this again is related to human life, saying that in our life also there can be instances wherein there are going to be clashes. Maybe amongst family members, maybe in our personal, professional life, or wherever it is, right? But we have to think very, very carefully, saying that what should be given the topmost priority and how we come out of that. So Rama in every instance tends to show this, and it becomes, and that's why the story of Ramayana, this character, this Avatara Purusha Rama, becomes very much related to human life. And that's why he does not leave his Manava Dharmam that is there in this Avatara. So this is a very, very important aspect for all of us who feel that if Rama is an Avatara Purusha himself, why does he not show his divine qualities? Why does not he behave like a god also? He could have done so many steps to avoid all kinds of injustice, but why he did not do that? So for this is the most important answer, wherein Rama could not leave, or he did not leave rather, his Manava Dharmam, so that people later, human beings later, can relate to this character. Because for human beings, everything is not there in our hands, right? We have to accept the situation. So that's why, of course, we can find out some solutions, but we cannot completely change something. Oh, something wrong is happening with me, or something correct is happening with me. I don't want this to happen, let this happen. We don't have that power, right? Whatever experiences come in, we tend to learn from that and we have to move ahead. So in the case of Rama, this happens. In the case of Krishna, then what is the difference? Krishna also is a Manava Avataram only, a human form. But Purna Avataram, Nara Avataram is Rama Avataram, Krishna Avataram is Purna Avataram. Purna Avataram, meaning a human form as well as a divine form. In Krishna Avataram, Krishna does not forget his divine nature. That's why right from the time Krishna was born, he tends to show his divine qualities. As a small baby also, Shakatasura comes in the form of a cart which was there. He shows his divine qualities. Putana comes in. He sucks out the milk that is there, and that's by sucking out the milk, he sucks her entire life also. So all these things that were being done by that small baby Krishna proves that this is not a normal child. A normal child will not be able to do all such things. So these are clear proofs wherein Krishna does not stop himself from showing his divine powers, wherein Vishnu decides, it seems, Rama Avataram, I have done a lot of justice, I had to endure a lot, I had to suffer a lot. But now as times are changing, like we discussed even in the last session, as times change little, we also have to change. There is something called Yuga Dharma, right? I'll give you a very, very simple example for this. Maybe now today we are all connecting with each other, maybe through an online medium also. Maybe a few years back, this was not, let us not say it's not possible. Maybe it was not that popular, right? But so we cannot say, oh, maybe few years back such things were not possible. Today it is being convenient also. So it is wrong. We should not do it this way. It's not that way, right? Or we cannot even on the other side that goes and says, no, I'm not very comfortable using this, or I will not use an online medium at all. I will wait for someone to come and conduct a physical class, then I'll go and attend. It becomes very, very difficult, right? We, as times change, it is not wrong, but we have to keep adapting. So the way we look, maybe we are learning today Raghava Yadaviyam. Maybe in a physical class also someone will teach you. Through an online medium also someone is teaching you. The outcome is the same. We are going to learn the same text that is there. Maybe there will be here and there some, maybe through a physical medium also, it will be more of interaction and so on. But maybe through an online medium, it doesn't happen that way. Of course, there are pros and cons that happen for everything. But the outcome remains the same. But we tend to change, right? As times change, we also change our sense. So the same thing happens when we compare this Yuga Dharmam also. Let it be Rama Avataram, Krishna Avataram, Treta Yugam, Dwapara Yugam, wherein Vishnu also decides that now that times have changed, though this evil characters like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Karadoshana have been killed, there are going to be still deadly demons who are going to be there, and later in yugas like Kali Yugam, even human beings will also turn out to be deadly or very, very dangerous. They will also have Rakshasic qualities more in them. Therefore, always just be suffering and giving time for evil characters like Ravana. Okay, I'm giving you time, you return back Sita Devi, return back Sita Devi. I will send Hanuman as a Duta, I will send Angada as a Duta. I myself will give you a chance before the war actually starts. So much time we don't have in Dwapara Yugam, in Kali Yugam and so on. That's why Krishna tells. Now in the case of Krishna Avataram, we know even before the war, even before the child was born, Kamsa is ready to send all kinds of demons, right? So Krishna decides that now I cannot wait and say, okay, I'll give a chance to Kamsa, this and that. All this I don't have time now. Right from the time I am born, I have to be ready to show my divine powers. So this is the most important or the first distinct feature of Rama Avataram and Krishna Avataram, wherein Rama little gives some time also. He endures, he himself suffers. The most prominent reason being Naravataram, Manava Avataram. Krishna Avataram, being a Manava Avataram, it is a Purna Avataram, wherein he shows the qualities of a man. It's a human form, but at the same time, he shows his divine powers also. And all the people around, like in the case of Rama Avataram, not everyone was aware, except for few devotees like Hanuman or so. People did not know. People come to know quite later that this Rama who is there is an avatara of Mahavishnu himself. But in Krishna Avataram, it was not so. People in Gokulam, Vrindavanam, Mathura, everyone came to know that this is not, at least if they didn't know that it was an avatara of Vishnu, they at least knew that it is a divine child, it is not a normal human child. So this is the most difference between Rama Avataram and Krishna Avataram. Okay, so this is the first point of Rama Avataram and Krishna Avataram. Now, in the case of Krishna Avataram, what happens is, one more thing is, now Rama Avataram, if you see, or why, if even today also if you compare, or even if you ask yourselves for that matter, Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, both are itihasas, both are epics. Ramayanam, Valmiki, composed by Valmiki. Mahabharatam, composed by Vyasacharya. Let us not even say composed, compiled. Okay? Because both of these itihasas, they are called Arsha Mahakavyam. Why Arsha? Something which is composed by rishis also, sages like Valmiki, Vyasa and so on. That's why it's called Arsha. That's why if you see Ramayanam, Sundarakandam, those who are familiar, you will know Ityarshe, Srimad Ramayane, Valmikiye, Adikavye, Balakande or Sundarakande, Pratama Sargaha, Dvitiya Sargaha, whatever it is. So Iti Arshe. There are only two Arsha Mahakavyas that we have. Okay, that is both itihasas, Ramayana, Mahabharata. And moreover, what is one more reason for this is both Ramayana and Mahabharata. Why it is itihasam? Itihasam is what? History, right? We call itihasa. How the name comes is itihasa, meaning this is how it is, or thus it is said, or thus it happened. Meaning there is no extra content that is added. There is no imagination that was added. Let it be in the case of Ramayana or Mahabharata. Now in the case of Mahabharata, Vyasacharya himself was present there. In the case of Ramayana also, Valmiki was a part of the story. Therefore, though we have a reference that Valmiki has written the Ramayana later, that is especially during the Uttarakandam also, Valmiki is also an important character in Ramayana. Similarly, Vyasacharya is also an important character in the Ramayana. We know the story of Satyavati and so on. So, therefore we know that, and in many instances even Vyasa comes. Later also he comes and meets Yudhishthira. So like this there are many references when both the writers, both the authors who are there, they are also a part of the text. Therefore, we cannot call this as imaginative texts or something which has been written later also. It has been written during that time only. That's why it comes in the category of itihasas. So, you see the newspaper that comes to our house every day. If you read one article, say today's newspaper only, you open and you read one article, you see there is no any news article I'm talking about. There will be no imagination that is done, right? You say some columns are small, some columns are big. If it is a very headlines or a very breaking news that is there, it will be given in a very big format, right? But if it is a small article, say for example in a small city or so something has happened and so on, it will be a small this. So you see the first page only of the newspaper, if you see, all the news, every new piece of news that is there is in a different size and format, right? Breaking news will be big, maybe not a very important news or news of a small village town also will be in a smaller format. Some will be in a square format, some is in a rectangle format. Why so? Because they just want to convey the news that is there. Only the important aspects are being told. The author or the person, the reporter who is there does not use his imagination here, right? This is a news, this has happened in so and so place, so many people were affected, this, that, that's it. to just close the news there. Ramayanam, Mahabharatam are also like this. Now, though here, if you see Valmiki, Vyasacharya, now if you have, some people might feel that you're saying it is a news also, then how it can be more than 1 lakh verses in the case of Mahabharatam and 24,000 shlokas in the case of Ramayanam. That was the subject matter, right? You see, it starts from the birth story of Rama and goes till the end, wherein till the story of Lavakusha, if you consider even the Uttarakanda. In the case of Mahabharatam, it starts right from the beginning of the Kuru dynasty, Shantanu and so on. It will go till the end of the Mahabharata Yuddham, and still the other things that come in Krishna Avataram comes to an end and so on. So every detail has been mentioned, but there is no imagination. This would have happened. No, that's why in the case of Mahabharatam especially there is a line. Yadi hasti tadanyatra yanne hasti natat kochit. Meaning, yadi hasti tad anyatra yanne hasti natat kochit. Meaning, whatever, now you see the subject matter of Mahabharata, more than 1 lakh shlokas. So many characters, so many subjects. If you see, it has got the stories also as well as some philosophical texts, like let it be the Gita, Vishnu Sahasranama, Shiva Sahasranama, Shiva Gita, and so many other gems which come in, right? So that's why it is said that because of so much content which is there in this text, whatever has been mentioned in this epic Mahabharatam, only that is seen in the world even today. Whatever is not mentioned here, such a thing does not exist in this world. Meaning, I'll give you one example. Now, the base itself was Mahabharatam is a dispute between brothers, right? Over property issues, basically. Over the kingdom between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Same thing we see around today also. The form is different, right? We also have property issues between siblings or between two parties that come in one. Or Draupadi's incident which takes place. Today also we see so many crimes which are taking place. So, the subject which is there, it will not be the exact content but in a refined form. But whatever has been mentioned or whatever has happened in the Mahabharata, the same thing we see around today. Yadi hasti tadanyatra yanne hasti natat kochit. Moreover, there is one more line which is said, Bharatam panchamo vedaha. Mahabharatam, because of its subject matter, because of its content, and it's so big, more than 1 lakh verses also, considering the Harivamsha Puranam, Panchamo Vedaha, it is equal to the Vedas also, the 5th Veda. Rig, Yajus, Sam, Atharva, and 5th Veda is Mahabharatam. It is not said Mahabharatam Panchamo Vedaha, make a note, Bharatam Panchamo Vedaha. Why so? The first name or the previous name of Mahabharatam, before Mahabharata, was Bharatam. Before Bharatam, it was Vijayaha. Before Vijayaha, it was Jayaha. So the first name of Mahabharatam was Jayaha. Jayaha, Vijayaha, Bharatam, Mahabharatam. Finally, it has stopped as Mahabharatam. There are no further names to it. Why so? People were confused, it seems. What, or even Vyasacharya for that matter, was confused to give this name to this epic because of its content and depth. Jayaha. First he names as Jayaha, victory. Simple victory. Pandavas over the Kauravas. Then he feels, no, we cannot just it's not just a simple victory, right? It is Dharma Yuddham, Mahabharata Yuddham. So that's why Bhattatri also, in Narayanyam, he dedicates an entire chapter for this Dharma Yuddham. But then later he feels, no, Jayaha simply calling would not be enough. Let me name it as Vijaya. V is actually a prefix, Pratyayam in Sanskrit. Vijayaha, that is also victory only, but it adds like more emphasis to it. Say for example, I say I'm hungry, but I'm very hungry. So that very that is there adds more emphasis, right? That this person should now be given food, otherwise maybe she'll faint and fall. So that's when this Vijayaha, when this prefix V was added, it added more emphasis, saying that it's not just a normal victory also, it is a very special victory. But then later people thought that no, just simply calling it as Jayaha, Vijayaha will not work. It should be called as Bharatam, meaning the country itself should be known by this epic Bharata Desham, that is our Bharatam. Again now just calling it as Bharatam or Bharata Yuddham, Dharma Yuddham will not suffice. Mahabharatam. Maha is something which is great. So a great Yuddham or something which has taken place in this great land of Bharata Desha, that is Mahabharatam. So that's how the name of this epic also has evolved. Now coming back to our subject and topic of Rama Avataram, Krishna Avataram. Now you see the story of Rama that is there, it goes like a normal story, right? There was a king, he had 3 queens, they didn't have a child, they do the Putrakameshti Yagam, child was born, he goes to the Gurukulam, later Vivaham takes place, some ups and downs come in life, he had to take up Vanavasam, he completes his duties, he returns back to the kingdom, again life throws obstacles, then Sita Devi, separation takes place. Whatever one possesses, one has to sacrifice things in life. Ramayana shows this. Finally, but it is a happy ending. Sita Devi. Of course, Sita Devi had to return back. She goes inside Bhumi along with her mother Bhuma Devi and she goes to Vaikuntha. Finally, then Rama Avtaram also ends. So, you see in Ramayana what happens is everything is like in a proper story, like a movie also when we see, right? It's a very, you can say, initial small, it will have a beginning, some introduction also. Then there will be some ups and downs that come in. Finally, towards the end of the movie, it will be happy ending, right? Now here also, why the controversy? There is a controversy. I don't know how many of you will be familiar saying that the Uttara Kandam, that is it, the last Kandam of Ramayana, that is actually not a part of Ramayana. Many people say that. The reason being the shaili or the kind, the style in which it is written by Valmiki only, but the style differs. That's what people say. And moreover, it does not, there is a difference in the way of writing or in the way of expressions, grammar also, that is used by Valmiki in the previous 6 kandas and in the 7th kanda. But personally speaking, I did not find any kind of differences. But then why this is said is, usually if you see in our country, that is there, let it be movies or stories, whatever it is, usually we believe in happy endings, right? So, that is, everything goes on smoothly, there will be some ups and downs in between, towards the end it will always be happy. So, Rama returns back to Ayodhya and Rajabhishekam, Pattabhishekam has taken place, the family is living together happily. With this, the story of Ramayana ends. So, this can be one reason why there are expressions saying that Uttarakandam is not a part of Ramayana. With the Yuddha Kandam that is there, Pattabhisheka Sarga, Ramayana concludes. Second reason is, why again a difference is being seen is, in the first 6 kandas, Valmiki was not, he was a character but not a very main character, right? But in the Uttarakandam, he himself has a very, very important role to play because he was the one who rescues Sita Devi from the forest, he brings her to his ashramam and so on. So there, Valmiki has an important role to play. So that's why there can be a difference in the time period in which he has written. Maybe in between, he was the one who taught the Ramayana to Lavakusha also. So maybe he would have taken little time also to write the Uttarakanda. Now if you see, for all of us also, today if you are writing something, say a poem or something, after 10 days if you are going to write something, obviously there is going to be a difference, right? Or maybe 10 years back the way I was doing something and 10 years later, or now if I am doing something, there is going to be a difference. We cannot do things in the same manner, right? So these are differences, these can be reasons why there are these opinions said that Uttarakandam is not a part of Ramayana. But the point is, we should just know about this. We should not fall into the controversy. For us, everything matters. Itihasam, like I told you, why I am telling you this is, or why even we should know about this is, let it be a happy ending or let it be any ending that is there. Our scriptures, our shastras always believe in putting things firmly. Sita Devi was sent to the forest. Was it a good thing, bad thing? Or Lavakusha, they had to grow up in the forest, also in the ashramam, being princes of the land, still they had to endure all hardships also. Is it correct, is it wrong? That is not our problem. But the thing is, it has been put, it has happened this way, this is how it is. Our itihasas, our scriptures that are there, they always proudly present things this way. Now in the case of Mahabharatam, so this is the story of Ramayana. And that's why you see, even amongst us also, like I told you, if you ask yourself, you are familiar with the Ramayana or Mahabharata, most of us will have an answer that I am comfortable with the Ramayana, the story of Rama. Or every child also whom you ask, first they are being told the story of Rama. In the case of Mahabharata, yes, roughly I know the story. It's not that I don't know. It's a story between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, disputes between them. Initially they go to the forest, they are troubled by the Kauravas, they live in incognito, in disguise for a year. They return back to the kingdom, again lot of hardships. The Kauravas do not listen to them, the Duryodhanadi Dushasana and so on, they also are causing a lot of trouble. Finally, the Yudham had to take place, Gita Upadesham. Then the Pandavas, they get back their kingdom. Then later, finally, they had to leave for the Himalayas and so on. So this is the rough story of Mahabharata. But in depth, if you ask who are the characters, what exactly takes place, after which incident, maybe I'm not that comfortable. And moreover, there are a lot of, you can say in the Ramayana, along with maybe few sad incidents like say Sita's abduction, or maybe the Rama Ravana Yuddham that takes place, there are also many good positive things also which have happened, like say Sita Swayamvaram, or the Putra Kameshti Yagam that was there, or maybe the Rama Hanuman Melanam. So, but in the case of Mahabharatam, now in the case of Mahabharatam also, there are many auspicious things. We have the Pancharatnani, which is popularly told with regards to the Mahabharatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranama, Yaksha Prashnam, Sanat Sujatiyam. Like this, there are many. But mostly what we see is, in every instance the Kauravas were troubling the Pandavas, and Draupadi was being insulted. So all such things that are there, little it disturbs a person who reads it. Moreover, for a human being like you and me, we cannot concentrate much, right? In the case, even if a person gives a small book, for us to remember a lot of things, or our concentration that is there is so less that we cannot remember many things that are there. Now, it's not in the case of everyone, but this is general human tendency, right? If, say for example, a person tells you that these are 10 things which are to be done, most of us will tell, right? No, let me do the first thing. You tell me 2 things now. I will do this, then I'll focus on the rest. But some people, you see, they have a habit. 10 different, this you do, that needs to be done, this needs to be done. Total confusion, right? We don't understand anything. That's when we stop the opposite person. We tell them, you tell me one by one, or let me complete one by one, then I will come to it. So, why this happens is because human tendency, human brain, we cannot digest many things together, right? It's just that we show our pride and we boast ourselves, but actually if you see, we human beings, we cannot process things very, very easily. So that's why this Mahabharatam, little it becomes, as a comparison to Ramayana, little it becomes not that popular, or maybe people will not approach that very openly first. But that is actually wrong. Let's not even call it as wrong also. Both are our itihasas only, both talk about the stories of Rama, Krishna and many other characters. So we must be equipped, and this is our own itihasam that is there. So we must have the knowledge of both, no doubt on that. Now coming back to the characters of Rama and Krishna. So one more aspect, like I told you, the similarity and difference of Rama and Krishna. One is Rama Avataram, he had to go by the rules, Manava Avataram. Krishna Avataram, along with Manava Avataram, Purna Avataram. He shows his divine power, divine qualities wherever needed. Now Rama's Jananam that was there took place very, very nicely in the palace. Like a proper Kshatriya. Every step of Rama Avataram, he has followed his dharma. Even his birth also, even his Jananam also took place in the palace. Like any other Kshatriya, he was given all kinds of comforts that were there. That's why when Vishwamitra comes later to take the small boy Rama along with him to fight with Rakshasas, Dasharatha and his queens could not part ways with Rama. And that's when he says that, Dasharatha says that my boy who is there has never seen the discomforts which are there outside. He has never even seen maybe animals, or not even anything rough that is there, or what you can say, difficult things, tough things, or maybe a thorn, things like that are never even seen by my child. How will he go and fight great Rakshasas who are there outside? So the point is, Rama's upbringing, or as a child when he grew up, it was in a very comfortable atmosphere in Ayodhya. But in the case of Krishna, you see, right from the time Krishna was born, now we call Krishna as a mischievous fellow, right? But because in every instance of Krishna, now even we popularly even don't call it as Krishna Avataram, we call it Krishna Leela. Why it is Leela? Because Bhagavan in every instance he shows his Leela. Like even while he was born, Krishna had to be born in a Karagraham, right? The minute he was born, he had to leave his own parents, his own biological parents, Devaki, Vasudeva. His upbringing took place with another set of parents, Nanda and Yashoda Devi. The minute he was born, he had to shift his residence from Mathura to Gokulam. That's when Vasudeva carries him over his head. That too a very, very, you can say a great tragedy, storm like situation. But with the grace of Bhagavan, the Yamuna Nadi also parts ways for the Lord to reach Gokulam. So even the birth story also is a Leela only. And while the child was born, Shankha Chakra Gada, Shankha Chakra Gada Kamalam, the child was born this way only with all his 32 teeth. That again is a wonderful sight to see in Krishna Avataram. Moreover, the minute child Krishna was born, he had to leave his, we cannot say he had to leave, but to some extent he had to change his dharma. Dharma, or you can say he had to lead a very, very difficult life that is there. Now he was born as a Kshatriya, like Rama only, to Vasudeva and Devaki. But because his parents were imprisoned or so, they were in the Karagraham, he had to be raised by parents belonging to the Vaishya Dharmam, that is, they who used to believe the business or the economic class that is there, selling and buying of milk and milk products, dairy products. That's why the child gets the name of Gopala. So one more instance which you can say shuns or removes the so-called caste system which is there in our society, or wherein people will poke fingers at our dharma saying that you all believe in this discrimination, this caste and so on. It is not at all so. It is later one who is known, or why even all these distinguish was being done, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or the various ashramas that we have, Brahmacharya ashramam, Grihastha ashramam, Vanaprastha ashramam, Sannyasa ashramam. Why all this division was being done is to make life a bit easy. Today we have many things, right? A teacher, a doctor, scholar, engineer, so many things are there. In those times, settlements were small. We didn't have great cities, we didn't have great professions that were there. So in a small village only, okay, you have 4 or 5 people belonging to the teaching community, you are Brahmanas. You are 4 or 5 people belonging to the Kshatriya community, that is maybe you work for the welfare, protection of the people, maybe you are well built also. You will have a lot of, you have the knowledge of warfare, weapons and so on, you are the Kshatriya community. You have the knowledge of business, economy that is there, you belong to the Vaishya community. And then those who are all into the service sector, mainly it can be cleanliness that is there, or mainly you take care of the services. Now most of us today, we all work somewhere, right? That is, we mainly provide our services somewhere. So therefore we are all actually Shudras who are there, we all belong to this community. But then later what happened is, so that's how the society used to be divided. But later it was man-made, or man put his brains into this saying that, oh, they are the upper class, they are the lower class. It's not at all so. It was just guna, dosha, vibhagashaha, guna karma vibhagashaha. As Bhagavan says in the Gita also, once dharma that is there has been divided basis on this only, based on the qualities which a person has and based on the karma, based on the actions that he does, nothing more, nothing less. So even Krishna also, that's the reason why, though he was born in the Karagraham as a Kshatriya, he had to leave and he had to go to Gokulam to stay with Nanda Gopa. And there he had to also follow the Vaishya Dharmam that is there. So here you see Krishna, whereas now I told you in the case of Rama everything was smooth, right? He was born in a kingdom, his upbringing, everything took place there. He stuck to where he was. But Krishna, you see, right from the time he was born, there were being ups and downs, everything. Bhagavan had to face a Leela. So the life lesson from both Rama Avataram and Krishna Avataram, from this instance that is there, is at times life goes about very smoothly. After this, after this. That is, I get up in the morning, maybe I do some exercise or so, I drink coffee, tea, then it is breakfast, then I go to work, this, that. Few days it goes this way, a normal routine. Few days it is like Krishna Avataram. There are going to be ups and downs. One morning I don't feel like getting up. Or if I get up also, maybe I will not able to do my routine properly. I have to go out somewhere. Or maybe there are going to be some health issues that come in. So every day is not going to go about smooth, right? There are going to be certain ups and downs. So this one-liner learning that we say from both Rama Avataram and Krishna Avataram is this, saying that at times like the birth or upbringing of Rama, everything might go smoothly. But at times like the case of the birth of Krishna, there can be few ups and downs that will come in. Both are a part of life only. Like Rama Avataram, Krishna Avataram, both are avatars of Vishnu. Similarly, life also will throw both of these situations that are there. Every day is not going to go in the same manner. So this is one thing which starts with the story or the birth of Rama Krishna. Further, Krishna Avataram that is there, because right from the beginning, Bhagavan had to undergo all these leelas that were there, all these challenges which came in, he was used to it. That is, later also you can see, in the case of Krishna Avataram, nothing was fixed, right? In the case of Krishna, you see. Then later he became a Gopala, he was like a cowherd. He used to spend his time with the fellow Gopas. Then a lot of mischiefs he used to do. One day he did this, tomorrow maybe he's doing something else. Today he is running and breaking the pots of some Gopika here. Tomorrow maybe he is stealing the clothes of the Vrajastris who were there. So some or the other thing which we cannot predict at all. But in the case of Rama Avataram, what happens is, Rama goes stepwise. Okay, now my upbringing has taken place. I've gone to the Gurukulam with Vishwamitra. I've killed the Rakshasas. Next step is, Sita Swayamvaram is there. I have won over the Swayamvaram. Marriage with Sita has taken place. I return back to Ayodhya. So you see, things go very, very smoothly, or like a normal story format in the case of Krishna, or in the case of Rama. Now everyone knows, okay, along with Vishwamitra he has gone, so definitely Bhagavan is going to face few demons who are there. And after their killing, maybe Vishwamitra comes with the good news, Sita Swayamvaram. That's when everyone gets an idea, okay, maybe now Rama is going to enter Grihasthashramam now if he wins over Sita. So everything is planned, or you can say at least people can predict in the case of Rama Avataram. The case of Krishna Avataram, or in the case of Krishna Leela, Bhagavan tries to show his Leela in such unique ways which none like you and me can understand, and nobody in fact knew anything. Morning if he is doing this, afternoon he is going to do something else. That's why in the case of the Damodar Leela that comes in, I'm just giving you one example. When Balarama and the fellow boys, they come and tell Yashoda Devi that this Krishna has eaten mud. She does not believe as such, because Krishna also nods his head saying, no, I didn't do that. Later Balarama comes and says, that's when Yashoda Devi says, no, Balarama will never lie. So this is the truth only. She is still having the thing in her mind that if I tell Krishna to open his mouth, I can maybe see only mud that is there. She tells Bhagavan to open his mouth. Beyond her imagination, she sees the entire universe inside. Bhagavan also in that trance, in that Leela, what he does is, he was just eating mud, right? But through that mud, he shows the entire universe to Yashoda Devi. She faints and falls. Nobody can even predict this. Nobody would have even thought about this, right? Maximum what we can think is maybe through some Leela also, or maybe he can swallow that mud completely. He will just rub it out somewhere. Maybe if he opens the mouth and Yashoda Devi sees, she cannot see the mud at all. This is the maximum imagination. But who imagined that the entire universe would be shown to Yashoda Devi? So like this, you see, Krishna Avataram is at times, it cannot be predicted at all, because it is Leela. We cannot not even call it as Avataram. It is like a Leela also. So again, you compare it with our lives. At times, things we can predict. Okay, today I have done this. So basis on this, we plan, right, for everything. Now, though life cannot be predicted at all, right? Today, we can just make plans that are there, but we can have a lot of dreams. We can even work towards that, but there is no guarantee, right? Now, maybe this minute we are breathing. Next minute, there is no guarantee whether we will breathe also, right? So, life is full of hopes, but still, we work towards our dreams. We make a lot of plans and so on. There can be few predictions. Say, for example, today we are all putting in efforts to learn Raghava Yadaviyam. Maybe after a month, towards this year end or the beginning of the new year, I will be able to chant this Raghava Yadaviyam. This is one prediction which we make. Provided I put in equal efforts, the opposite person also teaches me well and so on. But, so this is like this, I just gave you one example. Like this, we can make certain predictions, we can make certain plans, and it will work, right? Now we know, okay, you are putting in efforts, you are learning, the opposite person is teaching, so definitely I will be able to do this with the grace of the Lord. But like Krishna Avataram or like Krishna Leela, at times we don't know how life will throw, right? You see, sometimes many of us, we come across this news, right? Now this person was very much fine. Suddenly he fainted and fell. He was just walking on the road. Suddenly, I don't know what happened. He became drowsy also. He could not get up. So this is when life cannot be predicted at all. That is when everything is going upon smoothly, or there will be even a good news that comes in. It may not be only some bad news or negativity that is there. It can be even a good news. Say for example, a child who is there maybe would have done very average in an exam also, but maybe he comes out with very good ranks also. So he will not even believe, he could not even predict whether he will pass an exam, but he comes out with great ranks. So that's when you see, at times life will be this way also, wherein we cannot predict things at all. We can be ready, but we will be ready only for those situations which we can predict, right, or which you can imagine, which you and me can imagine, we can be ready for that. But for things where it is beyond our imagination, we cannot even think that such a thing will happen, then we cannot do anything. So Krishna Avataram or Krishna Leela is for this. So again, one more learning from both Rama Avataram and Krishna Avataram, from the story of both Rama and Krishna, is to be ready for both, to work towards our dreams, to work towards our predictions, which definitely will take place in certain cases, but for also the other side, when at times life is going to be unimaginable, we cannot even think of such a situation, but even in that time also, samadukha sukhaha kshami, like we have the reference in the Gita, samatvam. Okay, something has happened, maybe you could not imagine that, you didn't know that such a thing will happen, but still you should not overreact over it. You can take it smoothly also. So this is one more point between the qualities of both Rama and Krishna.